And hello, happy and beautiful and blessed moon day. I'm looking purpley right now. I normally use my computer for a light, but it's dead, so whatever. Just gonna have to use the natural light. It's already like basically almost sunset, but nonetheless, let's see what the vibe is for tonight. We have the Emperor. We have the Strength card. And we have the Six of Swords. And let me cross my legs. With, the Emperor and the Strength card, there's a very determined energy, shall I say, because, the Strength card naturally that focuses on having the willpower to push through something. It's having the confidence, quite literally the strength, internal strength, you know what I mean? Of course physical, but also the willingness to proceed, you know what I mean? An emphasis on that inner strength and whatnot here. I say a focus on inner strength because in a world quite literally, where we're kind of conditioned to give in to our fear rather than like overcoming it and everything of this nature, it takes a lot of strength to not allow, one's fear, one's like limitations, everything of this nature to deter them, shall I say, you know what I mean? And with that as well too, kind of brings in that emperor energy of kind of creating what it is that you want, having the determination, like as with the Strength card, the confidence, you know what I mean? The Emperor feels like a very stoic kind of energy, right? The Emperor knows what battles to fight and what not to, like the Emperor knows where to pour their energy, because there's understanding that one's energy is very important, and when it's kind of always being directed into places perhaps where like, how do I say, it's kind of just that energy of not everything to like, not every single thing requires your attention and your energy, shall I say. The Emperor is a very stable energy, focuses on security as well too, you know what I mean? It's a very guiding, it's a very leading kind of energy, right? But how can one really be in that energy when they allow the external noise and chaos to get under their skin, you know what I mean? And then we have the Six of Swords, which focuses on, it's a transition kind of base energy on, like walking away. And it comes right after, quite literally, the Five of Swords, which is a very conflicting kind of energy. It feels very deceptive as well, too. You know what I mean? It feels very scheming as well, too. The Five of Swords kind of feels like the Seven of Swords as well, too. They kind of, all cards kind of meet somewhere, you know what I mean? But, the Six of Swords, that's walking away. And it also focuses, like, on travel and everything of this nature. Right? But that kind of ties into knowing what battles to fight and everything of this nature. You know what I mean? The six of sixes as well too. It's a very nurturing kind of number. It focuses on like, balance, reciprocity, things of this nature. Stepping away from things that kind of perhaps created some sense of imbalance and whatnot here. You know what I mean? Queen of Swords here at the top. The Page of Swords in reverse there. And we're right back at that Temperance card, which focuses on alchemy, balance as well too. It's a very healing energy as well. And going back to the Strength card, because I placed this under the Strength card and whatnot here, like going back to what I was saying about like having that inner strength, that inner determination and whatnot here. It's important as well to, like, when these like limiting things come up or these fears, you know what I mean, when it comes up or whatever, to face it, to not suppress it or run from it, but to face it and to challenge it, you know what I mean. And it's through that facing and challenging of it kind of like allows you to kind of transmute it, shall I say, or alchemize it into something that can fuel you, propel you forward into where it is that you would like, you know, the Queen of Swords to be very discerning, you know what I mean. Saturn is very prominent. Because it's also, Saturn is that energy. Saturn brings that energy of, it's a very limiting kind of energy, Saturn. But Saturn is so much more than that, because despite the limiting kind of energy that Saturn brings, but Saturn also focuses on time, but Saturn as well too also focuses on, you know, persistence and dedication, focuses on the long run. You know what I mean? And it's really up to you to decide where you kind of place your energy and your power, and what you like allow to control you, the fears, the limitations, or, you know, things of that nature, shall I say. I think that's all I want to say, to be honest. Anything else that I want to add? Is any other card to kind of... Yeah, that Eight of Pentacles. That focuses on commitment and dedication, mastery, self-mastery, or just mastering whatever it is that one wants to. What is it that fell out here? The Fool card fell out in reverse. And look, we also have the Eight of Swords here in reverse, which is liberating yourself, kind of freeing yourself from, you know, mental prisons or whatever here. But yeah, with that Fool there in reverse, don't be afraid to go after, do the things that you really want to. Just don't let, you know, your own self-doubt or like limiting beliefs, mental prisons get in the way from you being that Fool. The Fool takes a leap. The Fool is led by their intuition, by their passion. The Fool feels like a page to me. You know what I mean? Every time I hear the Fool card always reminds me of the Fool on the hill. You know what I mean? People may think that you're a fool for doing something a certain way or going after something or just believing it. People may think that you're a fool or whatever, right? But the Fool is also led by their own internal wisdom. Not in the sense of taking or making stupid decisions, because the Fool can also represent that as well too. But you need to be willing to take a risk on yourself and to believe on yourself, okay? When the outside is telling you that, you know, oh, you shouldn't, like, kind of just adding on to the limiting beliefs or whatever, allow that to fuel you to do what you know you need to do. You know what I mean?